Hey guys, how are you doing today? So there is no doubt the Mandalorian is undergoing some pretty big changes, and later in today's video, we're going to be talking more about this rumour that the Mandalorian Season 4 is being turned into a movie. There are some new updates and you don't want to miss them. But first of all, a pretty big rumour has re-emerged. A while back, this Insider Show put out a rumour stating that Batuu, the location of Galaxy's Edge, which is canon to the Star Wars story by the way, is going to feature in a live-action Star Wars show. And today, I'm going to theorise why it could be the Mandalorian Season 4. Now I get it, this might be a very unpopular idea, that Galaxy's Edge, a real-world location, could tie into one of the most popular Disney Plus stories, but there has been precedent for it for a long time. Let's dive into this, and then you can let me know down below what you think. Again, we're just going to speculate, look at the rumour, and as I say, we're then going to get into some bigger news. No more jibber jabber, let's begin. So in case you're not aware, Lucasfilm has been doing quite a lot in terms of tie-in material for Galaxy's Edge, books, comics, and considering they've brought in Din Djarin and Din Grogu, that's Baby Yoda's new name, and the two of them roam the parks, there could be precedent for a side mission or a full-on adventure in the 4th season. Lucasfilm have a hardline rule that everything that appears at Galaxy's Edge has occurred or appeared in Disney Star Wars canon, and so, even if it's not in Season 4, Din and Grogu have been there or are gonna go there. And while the narrative at Galaxy's Edge has predominantly been sequel trilogy, it isn't limited to 7, 8 and 9. In fact, there are plenty of stories that take place around the OT, late prequel trilogy, and as we're gonna see, the Mandalorian as well. They've even brought in other Mandoverse characters like Ahsoka, Boba and Fennec Shand. But if we take Lucasfilm at their word, then Mando and Baby Yoda, who are both roaming characters, have in fact already visited the world in canon, or at the very least, are about to. The rumour stated an upcoming Disney Plus show, so this could be for anything. At the time the rumour came out, fans were speculating possibly Book of Boba Fett Season 2, or you never know, it might be Skeleton Crew. Featuring it in the Mandalorian's 4th season would be a fantastic way to explain their presence there, and to give a more casual audience a better understanding of the planet itself. It's a good marketing tactic to get fans to Galaxy's Edge. And I know some of you might be saying, Meg, you're overthinking this. Din and Grogu roaming Black Spire Outpost is gonna get fans buying tickets to Galaxy's Edge. It's a good selling point. Take a selfie with the Mandalorian, the most popular TV show Star Wars character. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if this rumour is to be believed, and they're trying to feature this planet in on-screen content, it's not too crazy to assume Mando is the place to do this. In the context of the story itself, this would not be a crazy suggestion for Season 4. We already know the show is going to return to its so-called roots, focusing primarily on Din and Grogu, this time aiding Captain Carson Teva and a Delphi squadron with small and large-scale mercenary missions and larger criminal activity on behalf of the New Republic. Exploring the galaxy, the armourer spoke about Mando taking Grogu on his Mandalorian apprentice journeys, and this is going to mean new locations and planets too, as I say, just like Seasons 1 and 2. And there is a great incentive story-wise to connect Batuu to the wider Mandoverse, and in this case, Grand Admiral Thrawn's return from Peridea following Ahsoka Season 1. The mysterious Darshi species, which travelled wild space and the unknown regions, used the planet of Batuu on behalf of the Grisk to imprison children of the Chiss Ascendancy, the latter group Thrawn belongs to. And we've long theorised about how Timothy Zahn and Dave Filoni are going to introduce the Grisk as an extragalactic threat, as we saw in the Thrawn books, but this time on screen, that still lurks. Zahn recently said all of the Night Sister subplot is Thrawn preparing for something bigger. Now going back to the Grisk, they should technically no longer be a presence on Batuu, but Thrawn Alliances in particular does mention this world quite prominently. And post-Battle of Endor, so post-Episode 6, there is gang and criminal activity that still takes place, some which Din Djarin might be sent to investigate. A somewhat idyllic location for the Mandalorian Season 4 to take us. This rumour could have been referencing Mando Season 3, since that report came out closer to that release, but there is a slew of upcoming live-action projects that we could see Batuu in. And so now, my dear friends, staying on the subject, the biggest news of last week was the rumour that the Mandalorian Season 4 might become a movie instead of staying on the TV format. There have been some reliable sources since who claim we should still take this with a massive heap of salt, and for all we know, the movie model was just a suggestion. At this stage there is no way to know for sure, but Star Wars Newsnet did propose a very interesting theory as to what's going on. They begin by rightly stating, all rumours are just that. Lucasfilm are not very transparent with upcoming shows. Until they've got a trailer, until things start filming, we're often left in the dark. This could just be another rumour that is forgotten, but one proposition states, The Mandalorian Season 4 becoming a movie could be directly tied to the recent shift where Dave Filoni was promoted to CCO. Here's what they say. At first glance, the move makes no sense. The Mandalorian is Disney Plus's flagship title, so one would think they would have that running as long as possible. Even more so, there is not a lot of precedent to back up the fact the movie following up a TV show could do the numbers that a Star Wars movie is required to do in theaters. The budget would probably be lower than the sequels, but still, they say there is more than meets the eye. The most obvious explanation is that Disney wants a Star Wars movie out in theaters as soon as possible. The strikes forced them to push back several productions, and the easiest way to do this was to turn the already successfully proven Mando into a feature film. The show was planning to start shooting in October, ahead of its likely 2025 release date, so everything was ready, even if filming's now been pushed to 2024. But we have heard they did some reworks of the scripts, and may remove some fluff. And Lucasfilm leadership might have thought the story works better as a film, and they do make a very good point. We're assuming this would be a big screen release. However, this could be one for Disney+. They could use this to hype fans about the idea of a Mando film, and then have Dave Filoni's Mando movie be a follow-up in the next 4 or 5 years. So just to get to the meat and potatoes, they say this, when discussing the recent promotion of Dave Filoni to Chief Creative Officer and Carrie Beck to Head of Development, they raised some concerns about neither of them having any experience with live-action feature films. The issue, which also extends to the head of physical production, Momita Sengupta, could become a real problem if Kathleen Kennedy steps down from her leadership position at the end of her current contract by the end of next year, or shortly after that. Therefore, I wonder if the company sees this as a training exercise for the soon-to-be leadership lineup, and saw with the constrained production timelines for the rest of the New Republic stories, an opportunity to put together a feature film so they can kill multiple birds with one stone, getting some experience with movie making for the top brass, have a Star Wars movie out in theaters they say by 2025, which was, as they point out, Iger's original order for Kathleen Kennedy. Then start advertising the Mandalorian brand for movie-going audiences and have them ready for the big, Dave Filoni-directed conclusion, and get ahead of the tentative schedules of other productions, among other advantages. This, of course, is just a theory. It's a good one, it's well thought out. In a sense, it gives us a long-term perspective outside of the story narrative for Season 4, for why they may be inclined to turn it into a movie and experiment just a little bit. Get Dave ready for his fully fledged live-action Star Wars movie in a few years. If this is the case, then this one, Mando Season 4, will largely be Jon Favreau's movie. But I do want to clarify we're talking about rumours here. Nothing is confirmed until Lucasfilm come out and say it. Did you enjoy this news update? If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.